tough loss, certainly a heartbreaking loss last week. You know, proud of our team's effort and our fight, and we always fight 60. Certainly want the W, but our guys have again, time and time again, you know, down with a lot of adversity striking against them. They've battled back and given themselves a chance at the end to win. So as a coach, I'm always proud of that. I mean, I always will be. Put me in my casket, I'll be proud of that. It's you know, that's one thing I love about this football team is a bunch of fighters and they'll fight, you know, and certainly we've been through some adversities. We've been through some adversities this season, but the thing as a coach, the fight, the courage to keep standing up, that's something I've been proud of. So wish we would have gotten a W. Nobody hurts worse than I do. It's one of those deals that it won't sit on me for a day or a week. It'll sit on me for the rest of my life. But that's football, and you got to get up off the mat and get ready for a big game this week. So.
Speaking of big game, short turnaround, and the holiday and all that stuff, how do you guys plan to?
So no, it's just a small adversity compared to some of the adversity, but we got to adjust and adapt and get ready for the game. You know, that's it. You know, we practiced, got them back about midnight Sunday, and had practice last night, and we'll go out tonight again, and we'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and you know, Thursday will be our Friday, and Friday will be Saturday. So just a short week, Jason, but our guys are practicing hard and had a good practice last night, and we'll come out and practice hard. I know that about this team.
What are things looking like with the quarterback situation?
You know, it's you know, Nick's practicing. You know, again, it's another one that he practiced last night. So we'll see how that plays itself out as we get toward the end of the week again. It's another just small adversity. You know, we got that, and of course we struggled Saturday a little bit with our kicking game too. You know, Parker's been out, so you know, kicking field goals is certainly something we got to look at too. But at the end of the day, you know, I think Nick's there, so hopefully we'll get him healthy, ready to go.
As a coach, how do I guess you curve or frame that adversity that goes along with injuries or inexperience, things like that?
You just got to get up. You know, you can't. You know, again, that's part of football. You just got to get up and go play. You know, and fight, and I got to do that. So again, I'm proud of that. You know, but that's just part of this game. At times you have those, and you know, next guy up. But it is something that some years it hits you a little bit harder than other years. But and you got to hit the road. You got to go out and recruit, and build depth, and do all those things. That's part of the journey too. You know, because injuries are coming, and you know, so it's just part of football.
Coach, from what you've seen since the end of that game, it kind of looked like that maybe the team took this particular loss against North Texas a little harder than some of the others. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's a fair statement, Lanny. Well, you know, kind of, you know, I think the big thing with that loss at North Texas was it was, you know, you kind of putting yourself in a pretty much a guaranteed position for bowl eligibility there with that W. You know, now you kind of, you know, you're playing for that 6th win, but you're also trying to figure out what the factors are that determine everything, you know. But I think it was a tough loss. We put a lot of energy into that game, and I just felt like, you know, it was one of those, as a coach, you felt like, you know, we were ready to play, and you know, it was just tough, you know, after the battling back, you know. It's kind of like the Troy game. You know, we were down early, and you know, we battled back, gave ourselves a chance with 9 seconds to go down here. We lost that. We battled back, you know, there and gave us a chance. Even a couple weeks ago, we dug ourselves a huge hole after the block punt at Charlotte, and dug ourselves back about 4 minutes to go with a chance to cut it to 1 score. And it's you know, and again, that's something I can't tell you all. I mean, that's something I do love about our football team is these guys. They fight, they scratch, they claw. You know, we certainly sometimes make some mistakes or have a turnover or do some things, but at the end of the day, you know, we're fighting. I'm proud of that, Lanny, and we just gotta, you know, we gotta go out here and put our last effort of the season and make it our best effort, and knowing that there's still a lot to play for, you know, and I think that's the reality of it.
Coach, kind of following up on that, after you got the team back, you've had a chance to be around them for a day or so. What's their mindset?
I think they're again, they came out and practiced hard yesterday. I think they're fighters. This team is a bunch of fighters. They're hurt. I think it's coaches, players, equipment managers, trainers. I think we all hurt. I mean, that's the thing that you can't. Those type losses are tough. They really are. Those are tough losses. But it's one of those things that you got to get back up. And that's life and that's football. And I know this team will. I know they'll get back up and ready to go. And I admire that. This is one of those teams that I just admire that aspect of our football team is they just get out there and keep digging, need that, and they'll give it 100%.
Coach, it's the second game that Keon faced some adversity with the turnovers. What do you tell him just to sort of keep his confidence up?
Well, it's Keon's a football player, and he's going to be fine. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes young quarterbacks go through a little bit of a learning stage, And I can remember, way back at Marshall, I think before Chad Pennington sophomore year, he threw 6 in a game. And then I can remember Byron Leftwich throwing about 5 or 6 in a game. And they wound up being first-round quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? I said that's the reality of it. Is it's going to happen. Sometimes as a freshman, but you live and you learn. That's life, And he's a football player. That's the one thing about Keon. He's a football player. He's a guy that is a competitor. Shooting, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of his effort. I'm proud of the fight. He keeps coming back, and again, he's a ball player. And so it's just part of football. And so certainly that's something we just gotta keep digging and keep fighting.
Coach, when you started looking ahead to this Louisiana Tech game, last 3 weeks teams had that adversity early and found themselves in an early hole. Do you do anything differently this week in preparation or planning to, maybe guard against that a little better?
I think yes, Lanny. I think there's a couple things we'll do a little bit different in our practice, just to try to see, if that helps on some of those adversity striking early. But so we've been working on a lot of these things all year and changing up patterns and took a big emphasis for the last 4 or 5 weeks in creating turnovers and doing some things like that. And then showed up last. I thought this past week we finally started picking up on a few. So hopefully we'll continue that. But you'll change up some things for sure. And it's you're always searching for that. And some years are a little bit worse than other years. But as far as that's concerned, certainly we've had a tough year.
So the other day, was Nick not cleared medically, or was it just he hadn't practiced?
He wasn't cleared medically. But pretty much we've had, it was about that first drive out, I think, of that second half against Charlotte. I think we got dinged, and then he wasn't cleared for ODU, and he wasn't cleared for North Texas. So it's it's just part of the we got a battle for.
Coach, you said previously that you don't look at the season in its totality until you count all your chips at the end.
Mm-hmm.
When you count all those chips, are you kind of see this coming, or are you kind of disappointed? What kind of feeling do you have?
Well, as a coach, you always want to win a championship every year. I don't think there's any year that you're ever really is ultimately pleased if you don't. But you also, as a coach, have to look at more of the times than just a scoreboard. And that's a coach's job. It's not, also, hey, we want to win, and we know we got to win. But the reality is, when you look at young men that battle through life adversities, and they show that type of resolve for 60 minutes, you also take deep appreciation, and you appreciate those things in coaching. You do, and again, that's the reality of who you. At least that's who I am. Maybe not everybody's the same, but I love that about this football team. I really do. I love it. And, you know, it's, you know, like I said, nobody sits back with losses and hurts more than these players, and these coaches, and myself. I mean, like I said, some of these losses, 10 years now, somebody was forgotten about. You know, I'll still sit on the porch and remember that sick feeling in the gut, you know, and you'll still remember staring at the ceiling on Saturday night, you know, but that's coaching. And certainly we got to go out and get ready this week and try to finish this season off strong. That's our challenge. And, you know, we're looking forward to getting back to work. I mean, we got back last night, but today and through Thanksgiving and working hard and getting out ready to play on Friday afternoon. You know, that's all we can do. Can't do anything else.
In a way, do you appreciate the emotion those guys showed at UNC after the game was over? Like, do you find a way to, I guess, appreciate the fight? And
Yeah, shoot, it hurts. Those losses hurt. You know, those losses are tough. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to swallow. It is, and it's not something that goes away easy. You know, you know, a lot of work put into it in the season. You know, in coaching, there's a lot of work that you have to do here and now on, and a lot more work to do in the future, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you put a lot of blood and sweat into it, you know, so tough losses like that they're hard. It's hard to take.
Coach, with this Friday possibly being the last game, or with the win being bowl eligible, what would you want the last page of your team story to be written? How would you want it to be written?
Well, certainly we want to finish strong with you know, with a W. I mean that's what we want, and we know we're going to have to go play our A game. And we know we're going to have to put together 60 minutes of good executing football in order to do that. And but that's what you want. I mean, that's what we're practicing hard to do. So you know, we're going to go out there and work as hard as we can to try to achieve that goal.
Tech has been on a roll. What do you see in them?
Just a very talented football team. I think have a lot of playmakers at the receiver, running back, and quarterback position. A very talented football team. I think extremely. You know, they are that team that you know, you look and you don't see a lot of weaknesses. You know, I think defensively they fly around, and you know, they're a team that's 8-3. Lost to Arkansas by a point, could have won that game. You know, had a tough loss. You know, I think in the fourth quarter, in the last few minutes against Middle, and you know, so there are just a few plays here and there from being undefeated. So, really good football team.
From your vantage point, how has Nick handled the last couple of weeks?
It's been tough on him. You know, I think JC's a competitor, and you know, it's tough because I'm sure he feels like he could have been, you know, in his mind he could have made a difference. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's probably pretty tough for him to sit back in November and you know, watch his teammates, his fellow seniors. I think that's probably been a tough thing for him. You know, he wanted to play bad last week, you know, but again, he wasn't medically ready to, and nothing's more important than that. We're gonna make sure that he's healthy and not in harm's way, but I think it's been real tough on him, you know.
Coach, could you speak a little bit about the O-line play Saturday evening?
You know, I thought, you know, we had some good and bad, you know. I mean, I thought at times, you know, we had some good blocks. I thought you know, we sprung him a couple times. A couple times we gave up a few pressures, but I thought it was one of those games that we were, you know, I mean, there's some good, there's some bad. You know, it's kind of but that's football.
Coach, one last question. Could you just talk about the 2016 senior class?
It's just an outstanding group of young guys. It really is. Again, I'm proud of that bunch. It's a bunch of young men that have fought hard for Southern Miss. Many of them have fought through so many adversities. You know, we talked about, you know, the battles that they've fought through, and they've had a lot of highs and lows, but, you know, they certainly are a group that has fought, and a group that I'm proud to be their coach. They're a joy to be around. Come out every work day during the week, and they work hard. And just an outstanding group of young men, a bunch of guys that certainly wore the black and gold and represented Southern Miss admirably and did a great job. And just appreciate guys coming out and supporting them on their last game at the Rock. And again, those guys are, you know, special guys. You know, one of them, Will Freeman, lost his grandma at the North Texas game, and certainly we send our prayers out to Will and his family. But you know, he's a guy that you know, he's on his way back to practice right now. He loves his teammates, and he's trying to get back here to practice with them. But they've been through a lot of family tragedy, and you know, just like football, Will's battled through that like a soldier, you know. And he's but I think that kind of has been a mentality of those guys. So I just appreciate all they've done. It's kind of like we talked about Nick. You know, he's a competitor to the core, and you know, he's a guy that, you know, just it was killing him to sit out for a few weeks, but you know, he's out practicing, trying to get ready for this week.
Coach, on that, Ms. Gardner, somebody told me it was, you know, she had been to the game. Was Will out there with her?
You know what? I was doing the press deal, and you know, but from what I understand, he was right there by the bus. I think he was. I think he was there and just run out there. But he stayed at the hospital in Dallas the night after the game, and he went back to Florence, and he's on his way back today with Mom. But again, it's a tragedy, and just you know, puts a lot of things in perspective when you look at it. You know, coming out, but it's certainly praying for him and his family. You know, and I think he knows he's got a lot of brothers in here that love him a lot, and they're all, you know, all 100% here for him. So you know, just send your prayers out to their family.